What's up, YouTube? It's Saint Riot, and I made a build. Imagine that. Nothing that you haven't already seen before, except I'm using a few different weapons. But I so enjoyed my 12 Faith level 133 character that I made a variant of that same character, except at level 77. We still have 23 endurance, we still have 12 faith, but instead of having, 60 vigor and 70 strength, we now have 40 strength and I think 40 vigor. And other than, basically the same build. Weapons are all fire infused because at this point we're getting more damage out of fire infused than we are heavy infusion. I still see a lot of people ask about why I use heavy infusion on strength builds, and the reason for that, at higher level, when you get to like 60 or 70 strength, your damage number is smaller. Your AR, your attack rating, or whatever it's called in this game. The number is smaller. But the reason it's smaller is because it's all one type of damage. So the weapon's innate damage, whether that be slash, or pierce, or strike, or standard. And it's important to know that your damage, it has to go through your opponent's defenses. Both their flat defense, which is just a number that is increased as they level up, as your opponents level up, as you level up, your flat defense increases. And your flat defense is just that. It's just a number that will be taken off of your damage. And you have flat defenses for every type of damage type. And then you have absorption, which is what your armor is getting you. That's what, and your talismans and buffs and things like that. For the most part, that's giving you absorption. And absorption is a percentage, and it increases. Again, you have absorption for every different damage type. So, let's say you're using fire damage, and the number looks huge, 800, 900, attack rating on your fire weapon. Yes, but that number is being divided 4 times because you're doing not just pure fire damage, you're doing split damage. You're doing fire damage and physical damage. So that number is being divided 4 times. Fire, flat, and absorption, standard, flat, and absorption, or slash, flat, and absorption, pierce, etc., etc., etc. Right? Versus, you hit level 60, and now your weapons are heavy infused. You're just doing one type of damage, and it's getting, it has to go through 2 defenses. It goes through the absorption, it goes through the flat, and that's it, and it's over. So at this level, the fire the fire infused weapons, they scale with strength. If you choose for them to, which, in a strength build you should. Obviously, I'm not going to have them scale with faith, because I've only got 12 faith. But, that's why. The number lies to you, sometimes. It's not that it's lying to you, it's not telling you the whole story. Statistics. But this build, 77, 40 strength, 12 faith. Fire-infused weapons. And I love this build. This is like everything I want in a build. The ability to parry, I can switch between weapons, and I've got some really good offensive spells with Catch Flame and Bestial Sling, as well as Bestial Vitality, which is nice for those long invasions, where you're, you have those long invasions. You need to get the most out of your heals. So you don't want to drink an Estus anytime you take a little bit of chip damage. You want to save your Estus for, when you get reposted by the Night Cavalry glaive, you know? But yeah, I made this build, and I had hoped and intended that 77 with plus 12 weapons would be good to invade in Altus Plateau, Volcano Manor, and Lindell, the capital. And activity was okay. All of this footage was before the most recent patch 1.06, which introduced the world invasions, where you can go anywhere that you have unlocked. And since then, I don't think it matters. You can do whatever you want with your build, and you'll probably find somebody somewhere at that level with that weapon upgrade. But basically, I made this video because, you know, a lot of times I will make a video and people will say, oh, what is your build? And so I always like to have a little explanation for all of my builds. So this is, if you happen to see another video, you know, maybe like 3 or 4 months from now even, and you're like, what build is that? This is that build. So, yeah. So I have a 133 version of this build, and now I have a 77 version of this build. They do the exact same things, but there are some places that I can't invade with a 133, like, you know, here in the capital, and I love capital invasions. They're a lot of fun. So, you know, I want to be able to have those. And I was just trying to find the right level range, and I thought 77. I talked about this in a video discussing the patch, and a lot of people, I think, kind of missed the point. And I don't think people understand just basic things. So I talked about this. I talked about how when Dark Souls 3 first came out, I just went to meta level because that's where I just assumed you were supposed to play at, you know, if you're doing invasions, which doesn't make any damn sense at all. And that was me not understanding, like, the full picture. But it worked. It worked to invade at meta level for several months. For a long time, actually. For like a year. You could just invade at meta level, and you could invade anywhere in the game. There was always somebody to fight, because there were people playing through New Game Plus. Elden Ring doesn't really have any incentive to play through New Game Plus. So you're not going to get that same type of activity. There's just no reason to do it in this game. Alright. But, you know, I thought the people that I was fighting were at meta level, but they're not at meta level. Or if they are, they're just there on accident. As they continue their journey, you know, they were never going to stop leveling up. They just happened to be there at the moment. And I was talking about how you're just going to be at higher levels for a longer period of time because it takes longer to level up. To which people were talking about, well, just level up off the bird. Brother, sister, not everyone is like on Reddit and is gonna fight the bird. You are falling for the same thing I fell for 6 years ago. People aren't killing the bird. The average person is not killing the bird. You know? A lot of people probably kill the bird. Or kill the Albinorax, or whatever. But most people aren't, and they have no idea what anything is. And this goes back to the meta level thing. People aren't at meta level because they know what meta level is. They just happen to be there as they're playing through the game. Most people are not as online as you, or are not online about the same topics that you are online about. Not everybody gives a crap enough about Elden Ring and that sort of thing to be looking up YouTube videos about all this stuff. compare, you know, your average, like, Elden Ring type video. And I don't even, like, you can pick someone whose channel is way bigger than mine. You can pick someone whose channel is way bigger than mine. Take that person's video, and, like, a new video, and compare that to the number of people who are, like, actively playing Elden Ring that day. You know, the number of people actually playing the game will be much larger than the views of the video, because not everyone is watching a video about Elden Ring. But a lot of people are playing Elden Ring, and now I can invade them when they're level 77 with plus 12 weapons on a strength build. Thanks for watching. Later, y'all.